Mastery of Nature is a bad ascension perk, and you should never pick it. And now let me tell you why. My name is Takrima, and this is Stellaris, and in this case, this is Synthetic Dawn, and I'm playing the United Nations of Earth because I was in the mood to not play a robot nation just yet. So I'm playing as Earth to see what else has changed, really. Now, one of those changes is very important because it involves the Ascension perk Mastery of Nature. A lot of people will always pick Mastery of Nature. And I'm like, why? Why would you do this? This is the worst Ascension perk to get. Like, at all. You should never take this. Because what it does is, it gives you something, and you will never... Well, what you get is... unlocks the ability to clear most tile blockers. Like, you get the... It basically unlocks like 9 or 10 technologies for you. That, or well, it skips them. I'm not 100% sure because I never take it, so I don't know. And it reduces the cost to clear all blockers as well. It used to reduce it by 100%, and it got nerfed here in Synthetic Dawn to 50%. So it's already weaker because Paradox realizes, hey, this is really strong, everyone is taking it. I've never taken it because I think it's shite, and I'm gonna explain to you why it is. Now, when I look through my empire, which is like almost 30 years in, now look at Earth. It is, well, opened up, and I only unlocked this Ascension perk like a year ago, at most. Actually, we can check that. Like this amount ago I unlocked it, which is, yeah, a year, roughly, give or take. Now, on Earth, every homeworld you start with 6 tile blockers that are cheaper to remove, and over the course of so far, I've removed all of them. Now, I did unlock this Ascension perk later than usual, because this was my 6 + 3 9th trait I picked, because I open up with Discovery. I like Discovery. That's a discussion for a different video, probably, if I need to do this discussion with you guys at all. But I like to open Discovery, take all the way up to Planetary Survey Corps, because that small boost to research in the early game, when you are going crazy on exploration, really helps. So that is why I take it, and it scales into the late game as well. And then I go for expansion because, well, things like extra unity from all capital buildings, get free population when you found a new colony, as well as cheaper frontier outposts is quite important for the way I play the game. And I play quite heavily expansionist, and I like to have lots of planets, lots of systems under my control. So that means expansion is really good for me. Many people used to start with Prosperity. It's probably gonna change now, because Prosperity as well as Discovery, they used to give you 33% cheaper mining stations, and Discovery did the same with research stations. Those two have been removed to change up the early game resource costs a little bit, because it did make Prosperity a really strong early game for early expansion. Now, so I got my Ascension perk a little bit late. So maybe if I'd gotten it early, Mastery of Nature would have granted me cheaper stuff on Earth to remove. So I removed those 6 tiles, cost of 300 energy credits and 300 minerals combined total, if I'm not mistaken. Now let's go to my other 3 planets that I currently own. Monsoon has currently got, it's my latest colony. Now I'm already getting a new one on San Cristobal, but this was my last founded colony. It has currently got 5 populations, 2 of which are robots, so I've been filling up this planet faster than you would have if you were just growing regular people. And there are still 5 more rooms for people to grow into after my current growth is done. Do I have to remove tiles right now? No, not really. New Jamestown they have got room for 3 more tile blockers to be, well, 3 more tiles of room before I have to start removing these tile blockers. How long will that take? Well, if I look to Monsoon, the growth speed is currently 0.96 per month, so that's roughly 1 tick per month, and for here it costs 43, so let's say it takes 4 to 5 years right now to grow a new person, so 5, 10, 15 years of growth. These cost to remove 100 credits and 100 minerals. In 5 years, well, currently my mineral income is already almost at 100 a month, and my credit income is currently at 6, but that will fluctuate up and down throughout the game, because in the early game you should focus on minerals always as your main priority. So that is what I have been doing anyway. But I have 1800 that I'm not spending right now, so I could spend currently on 18 tiles to be cleared out. That's 4 of them. Every month I get, almost enough minerals to do it again. And here is Terra Nova. Now Terra Nova was actually my first new colony, New Earth Terra Nova. Well, Earth New, but still. And I have 3 robots on it, but I've also already cleared 3 tiles on it. So I've spent 300 minerals and 300 credits to remove the tile blockers. So far, now that I can finally take my ascension perk, I would have been able to save, up until now, 600 credits and 600 minerals by taking this ascension perk, Mastery of Nature. Now, that was actually before the patch. The current patch, I would have only saved 300 minerals and 300 credits. That's all. That was with a change cost to corvettes, that's 3 base corvettes and maintenance for them for a long time. That's it. So it's not a lot was saved. I mean, it gets you a boost, but at 30 years in, now that I have access to this, I can get about 100 minerals, so I need to wait 1 month. Okay, so I have to start building a mining station 1 month later. The speed at which I can build mining stations is still limited by the amount of construction ships I have. I currently only have 1. Even if I had 2, they would not build they would not build mining stations faster than I can actually get extra minerals to clear another tile. So when it comes to the resources on credits and minerals, I've never needed Mastery of Nature. Now the other thing that people say, yeah, but then you don't have to do the research. Now, right now, if I need to clear tiles on Terra Nova, I can clear 1 more, and it takes, well, say 15 to 20 years before I need to remove this tile, and then another 5 years before the next one. And then I don't have the research available. New Jamestown, 15 years, plus another 20 years, give or take. So that's 35 years into the future before I have to start removing more, before I'm completely capped and I need another technology. And I only need 2 for both of these tiles on this world. On Terra Nova I need 3 different ones. On Monsoon I need also 2 different ones, which are actually... one of them is the same as New Jamestown, and that's the same one on Terra Nova. So if I get removal for Dense Jungle, I'm golden. San Cristobal, which I'm now currently colonizing, I can remove 1 more tile, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 40 years of growth before, well, 35, because we get a free population from actually founding the colony. Anyway, so over the coming 35 years of growing my current planets, I need 1 technology to remove all those tiles. That's it. I only need 1 more. And how long is the research? I think it's currently would be 1002, maybe even cheaper than that in research, which at my current speed, which is with a little tiny bit stored, would take me 21 months. Say that I don't have it stored, that is less than 4 years, 3.5 years to research that one. I could have been researching something else in the meantime in those 3.5 years, which is true. But in the end, it's every tile block removal you can get by just researching. Why do you need them up front? And that is, well, it is very convenient. I will give the Ascension perk, it's very convenient. But you are wasting the most important resource by actually taking Mastery of Nature. And that is the Ascension perk slot itself. Because let's look at the Ascension perks that I have available. Interstellar Dominion is something you can get elsewhere. You can get, say, take Supremacy, you get 20% border range. If your Empire plays long enough, you will have the border range. You will take Supremacy, at least the first one. Because border range, I like it. It's really good. I love Galactic Ambitions, which is an early game technology, which gives you 20% border range. But what Interstellar Dominion is more of something you will not get anywhere else. This amount you will not get. It's a bonus towards everything. It's on top of everything. Technological Ascendancy, the same thing. It is 10% research speed on top of everything else. It is a direct bonus to the way things. One vision, which has been slightly changed, is governing ethics attraction. Plus 50%. What that means, it will give you one of the hardest to gain resources, which is influence, a lot more, because with, well, more governing ethics attraction, your primary ethics in your civilization, in your species, will be a larger part of the whole, which means your factions will be stronger. Normally, whichever factions are your governing party will be the factions you will have happy, and meaning will give you influence. So in this case, I only have 2 factions, which are coincidentally the 2 factions that are my governing ethics. So it's egalitarian and xenophile. These are the 2 that I have, so they're both happy, giving me a total of a crap ton, 5.4 influence in total. I'm gaining 6.55 influence right now. It's the year 2229. I was forced to spend on edicts. And, I mean, I'm now getting plus 6.55. That's because I only very recently took the last one in expansion, and which was cheaper frontier outposts. So I gained 1 influence per month very recently, but still. I have an edict active. I have active mapped stars, which is now put very early on in the game, which is really nice. It helps with the speed that you explore, which will also help with planetary survey. There's a lot of changes to the patch, is what I'm trying to say here. But yeah. So, governing ethics attraction, a huge boost to your influence gain, basically. Imperial Prerogative, core sector systems plus 5. This is a stylistic Ascension perk. I like to take it out of all these beginning ones. I know Interstellar Dominion is a straight up boost. Technology Ascendancy, One Visions are all straight up boosts. I still almost always go Imperial Prerogative because I really like controlling my planets myself. I don't like sectors that much. Now they have changed sectors, that it is available for you to actually build in sectors without donating and letting the sector run itself. You can force build buildings nowadays. I haven't tried it out yet, so I don't know if there's a cost change or anything else, but stylistically, if you like running your planets yourself, which becomes quite the micromanagement fest by the end game, which is something I enjoy in this game personally. So you don't have to take it. It is still, despite everything else, it is something on top of everything else. It is something you get through other technologies. If you were checking earlier, I was actually researching another core sector system. I just got 2 from finishing expansion. So in other words, I'm going to be up to 7 planets, which is pretty good. Well, yeah, that's that. Shared Destiny is new. Subject integration influence cost is cheaper influence. It depends on your playstyle as well. If you go for domination, trying to take over other people, then Shared Destiny could be very useful to integrating other species. Engineered evolution, evolutionary mastery is your biological ascension. Literally the ascension. They're really strong, and the only way to get to really massively changing the makeup of your species. The Flash is weak, synthetic evolution. Become robots. It's if you want to play the game that way. Same with mind over matter and transcendence. You become telepathic. Transcendence will get you to reach into the void, into the cloud, and do things with that. These 6, of which you usually get 2 of, are very much focused on endgame, well, mid to endgame gameplay. Now there's finally, there are 2 on this list that you cannot see, which is Machine World and another one. So those are specific for machine empires. Since I can't see them, I can't tell you about them right now. Anyway, World Shaper is terraforming speed, terraforming cost, and a free technology. But overall, it is that 50% terraforming speed is actually pretty good. But again, if you have a lot of planets to, well, fix up, and now I actually do have quite a few planets I would like to fix, you can get World Shaper. Oh, excuse me there. Anyway, Galactic Force Projection. It is not the necessity, but it's on top of everything else. That is the theme here. Master Builders, really good. Changed it up to include Mega Engineering, which is a really good boost to it. But it makes all your megastructures build double speed. If you want to build megastructures, it's really nice to get Master Builders. It is nice, not necessary, because you can get Mega Engineering otherwise. But the double speed is helpful because most of the, except for habitats, you cannot build 2 Mega Engineering structures at the same time, 2 of those megastructures. So making them double speed means that if you have the income, you can have them twice as fast. But in the end, yeah, that's a choice you have to make. Galactic Contender. Oh no, a fallen empire has awakened or something. Well, take this and you can kill them a lot easier. Again, it's not necessary, but it is on top of everything else. Voidborn, the only way to get habitats. Yeah, it's... if you want to build habitats, it's to play tall, it is the way to go. Circle of Life. Oh, you get to build ring worlds. That's really cool. Same thing with the Galactic Wonders. You get to build Sentry Arrays, Science Nexus, Nexi, or a Dyson Sphere. Well, I got lucky in this game. I actually have a ruined sensor array already in my territory. So I will eventually be able to fix that instead of build my own new one. But yeah, out of all these things, you have Mastery of Nature. Clear blocker cost minus 50% is technically the only thing you get out of this. And the ability to clear most tile blockers, it just takes some research time, and there's not that many, personally I feel, society researches that would impact you getting your researches. And on top of that, as if in the start you are colonizing only planets of your type or archetype, so in this case we have wet planets with continental world as my homeworld, so continental, ocean, and tropical is what I would take at the start. And there's only a certain number of tile blockers available on those worlds, that would be removed. So even if there are like 10 to 12 different technologies for tile blocker removal, you only need like 4 or 5 in the first 50 years anyway, because you usually focus on getting planets that are actually useful. Now, so you have this. There's one late game mechanic, mid to late game mechanic, that actually completely negates the need for Mastery of Nature on top of, well, I can already get the science and the minerals and credits anyway. And that is terraforming. When you terraform a world, like, hey look, there's I think, oh look, it's a 23 size savannah world. That is a freaking nice world to live on, isn't it? Oh, my people will be quite unhappy. The way it works now is that you get, for every 10% habitability below 100%, you get 2.5% reduction in happiness. So if you go below 50%, below 60% habitability, your people will be unhappy if they're not in a faction that is happy. So, but what do you do to fix that? When you have enough credits by late game, you just terraform the planet to your own type. So it becomes very habitable, your people will love to live there. What terraforming also does is remove all tile blockers, which essentially means that the cost of terraforming, you can, if you don't take Mastery of Nature, which you never should, if you don't take it, you can deduct the cost of all the tile blockers you remove from the terraforming costs. There have been some changes to the cost of terraforming in general, so I'm not sure how much you can reduce it anymore, and because I also think that the resources, the liquids and the gases actually make it faster rather than cheaper. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 1100 credits you can take off. Oh, but wait, there's another thing that reduces the cost of these tile blocker removal, which means you don't actually have to do anything about it. Hey, it is having a governor. Now that governors are always active, so if I look at my planets, I have the same governor on every planet. Your governors now control an entire sector, and your core sector is now considered one sector when it comes to governors. So if you manage to get a governor that has, like, we don't have one available right now. I could actually just try and get one because they're cheap. That's architectural sense, that's fine. Now I'm gonna fire Stefania, sorry for that. You can get a governor that has 25% cost reduction on tile blockers, as well as 25% cost increased speed of the removal process. So in other words, you can already get your tile blockers quite freaking cheap anyway, without the need of Mastery of Nature. So why would anyone ever spend a full ascension perk on things that will aid your civilization, your race, your empire, on top of everything else? More border rage, more planets to colonize that are not in the sector, because sectors are still finicky. I think they've probably updated the AI, but still, I personally don't like working with sectors because you have to do the resource management rather than just getting it all yourself. Every other ascension perk has quite some strength behind it and what it does. Why would you ever want to spend it on Mastery of Nature? I don't think you ever should. By 200 years in the game, if you have your 6th ascension slot unlocked by then, you've been doing something really well, or you've been just focusing on Unity. And already getting 37 with 4 planets actively working it. So you have 6. Well, you will want 2 of your ascensions. You might want to get Voidborn, or, you know, Galactic Wonder, Circle of Life, one of those 2, maybe both. Maybe you do want World Shaper. Oh, wait, you can't. You took Mastery of Nature and you're now capped on your ascension perks. So, please don't take Mastery of Nature. It is a trap. It is a fully functioning bad ascension perk, because it wastes the most important resource you have when it comes to ascension perks, which is the ascension perk slot itself. Focus on a scientific nation, get technological ascendancy. Are you spiritualists? Get consecrated worlds. You can't see it in this list It's really good. It's a 100-year edict on your planet for like happiness and growth or something. It's really nice to have. You want a big empire? Get border range. I like to take Imperial Prerogative because that's the way I play the game without having to work with sectors. And now with the governor boost, this actually gets even stronger again because it's still only one governor for all your core planets. That is a massive boost, by the way. But yeah, it's just, I mean, why would you ever pick Mastery of Nature? Why? Make sure to leave a comment below if you have your own thoughts on why you actually think Mastery of Nature is better than just the convenience you get in the early game for not having to spend a couple of years of research on what you want. Oh, and by the way, by the time you actually do need the other 5 or 6 technologies unlocked that you need for removing tiles on other planets, you know, by that time it takes only a year to research, so you don't really lose that time either. No. But yeah, make sure to leave a comment if you want to discuss this with me. And other than that, thank you all for watching this quite long-winded chat about Mastery of Nature and why it sucks donkey balls. My name is Takriva. Make sure to like, favorite, maybe even subscribe if you want to. And I will see you all later.